Well, hello and welcome to Bobo Bun Sew Vintage Life. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Lisa. I'm a vintage inspired dressmaker and sewing teacher, and I'm sharing everything that I absolutely love about this fabulous thing that is dressmaking with you here on my channel. In today's video, and it's been hard to pick because I have got so many things that I want to share and talk about, but I am focusing on sewing jersey, and it's using the body of one pattern with two other pattern sleeves. So I'm showing you that and my thoughts along the way, wearing jersey, enjoying it, and how it works in with a vintage inspired wardrobe. So I shall see you back here in a moment. Right, learning on the job. I think my battery died, even though it should have been really well powered up. Can't remember what I was talking about then, so this is me, another day in another outfit, which kind of doesn't flow with the video that you're watching, but the bit that I thought I was recording the other day, and it turns out I spoke for a long time and I hadn't pressed the button. And what I was telling you was that this week I have treated myself to a proper video camera, and it's absolutely fabulous. Got a great microphone. I'm hoping that I am going to get better quality. I have invested in my business, taking it forwards, and I went and bought all the most exciting stuff. I had a budget and the guy in the camera shop was just so helpful. And I got a used camera for a lot cheaper than they retail at, which meant I could buy all sorts of other equipment that I really wanted. So it's super exciting. The manual that comes with this camera is like a Bible. There is so much to read. So I'm just learning on the job. So you will probably see these videos get better in quality. At the moment, I'm just working off the back of what I can understand to do with these this technology. I remember at art college studying photography, and when they talk about ISO numbers and F readings, they might as well have been talking pure advanced physics for all I understood. I hadn't got a clue, but yeah, I've got to learn this stuff. I've got to learn other things. In terms of business, I was getting some really good advice this morning in my lesson, because I teach all sorts of professional people that bring an amazing skill set, and it gets really exciting from what I can learn from them too. So yeah, there's lots of learning that I have got to do. But isn't that great that it never ever stops? There's always more to learn. So that's why this is interspersed in the middle, so that I can tell you what the rest of this video is all about. So before I do, I will tell you what I'm just wearing now, because I've got my finished Richmond blouse on from Till the Sun Goes Down patterns, and this is in a vintage curtain fabric that I got. So I finally finished it and made it, wearing it under not a cardigan I made, it's one I got in a sale. I can't remember what the make is, but I just love this lilac. I never ever wear lilac, but I just absolutely loved this cardigan. I thought it'd go really well with lots of things. And the other exciting thing for me anyway is I have had my nails done properly, never had it done. So yeah, I've got sparkles over my red, and they should hopefully last 3 weeks. Got on fabulously with the lady at Molly Coddle's Studios, which is a new enterprise, been there about a year in Norwich, so I'll link her in case you're a local watching this. She was absolutely fabulous, got on really well, and struck up a deal where I'm going to be making her a dress for nail painting. Right, onwards with what we're talking about. Look, and I've got back from teaching. I made myself a lovely hazelnut latte in my Pat Dip It Again mug that my youngest daughter bought for me. I just love Pat. If you've ever watched BBC Ghosts, he's not my favourite because they're all my favourites. I think they're all marvellous characters, but Pat, bless him, is just so sweet. So it's my Dip It Again mug. I was going to take a sip, but I don't like watching people slurp away at the coffee on film, so I won't do the same to you. I'm just banging my rings against it. So on with the subject matter. I taught a jersey workshop last Sunday, which is always a really popular workshop. I love bringing that to people to show them how accessible sewing with jersey is really early on in your sewing journey. A lot of beginners are quite scared of sewing with jersey. They needn't be. And now with the invention of the fabulous stretch thread, Gutermann's is called Maraflex thread, you can sew in a straight stitch, no zigzag stitch which looks ugly, no need for a lightning stitch if your machine doesn't have it, and if your machine does have lightning stitch it can be quite slow because the machine's got to go down a straight line and then zigzag off, and quite hard to unpick without putting a hole in your jersey. So doing a regular straight stitch in this Maraflex thread is a boon. So I had a lovely time sewing the jersey, which people really enjoyed and made some fabulous things. And I'd worked straight for a week and a half, so I was desperate to sew. I took Monday totally off, other than I was teaching in the evening. And I sewed the two tops that I'm talking about in this video. The leopard print and the silver still on Foxy Lady. So I used the Gable, which is one of my favourite patterns, the Gable top by Jennifer Lauren handmade. And then I mixed it up with different sleeves from different patterns. So that's what I'm going to be showing you in this video. Some of my sewing, making it and talking about the process. So this is me caught up with the bit that I didn't film but thought I filmed. That wasn't even technology failing, that was Elisa failing, Elisa breakdown. As you were, and we shall now continue with the rest of the video. Anyway, so this one is the Gable bodice, and I've used the Maven Patterns Somerset, you know, the bishop sleeve blouse, which I've made loads. I absolutely adore this with a straight deep cuff, you know, and then it's gathered in. So I will pop up a picture of both of those on Foxy Lady and then pop over and show you some of the techniques, because both use elastic in different ways. I will say before, I had filmed, this was all on my camera during the week, I had filmed doing the Agnes sleeve elastic, and I thought I'd pressed record, and I obviously hadn't, and there's quite a lot of footage there, so I will just talk you through that process. Yeah, it's just how it is, sporadic, but I do my best. So over to showing you those pictures and then a bit of sewing, and then I'll be back. I chose this beautiful dead stock sparkle jersey from Fabric Godmother and the leopard print Ponderoma, also from Fabric Godmother, using my favourite Gable top with the Maven Patterns bishop sleeve for the leopard print, and then the Tillian Buttons Agnes sleeve for my sparkle. Now for some early morning quick cutting out in my horrible dressing gown and the remains of the Halloween party tea left over, with the eyeball keeping an eye on me, making sure I'm cutting out properly. I can be quite lazy sometimes with my patterns because I needed to lengthen the bishop sleeve by 2 inches, so I just measure the distance, you know, and place it on the fabric like so. Works for me. Just the cuffs, and then that's my first top all cut out and ready to sew. And with the Agnes sleeves, they've got to have a ruche on the shoulder to get that puff, and you gather the sleeve head in. So where I put the pins in, that's my marking place for the elastic that I will sew in to gather it all up. Getting my machine ready for sewing with the right needles, so putting some stretch needles in, and then I will change the Maraflex thread, which I found an absolute boon. If you don't have a lightning stitch on your machine, I do, but I find that quite slow and it's hard to unpick. And if you haven't, you have to use a zigzag stitch, which I think looks pretty awful. Now you can just sew in a straight stitch because this is a stretchable thread. It's absolutely marvellous. So I can't stop telling everyone about it. I'm just overlocking the neck edges on my Gable, which is a boat neck. Just like to give that neat finish, even though the fabric won't fray. And I do that before I then sew up the shoulders and fold the neckline down into place and then stitch that down. As you can see, I'm wearing a Maven pattern. I've got this bishop sleeve on the top that I'm wearing, and that's what I'm making this top into, but this is the proper Maven I'm wearing. I've got the whole Somerset, which is another boat neck, but it's just got a softer, more curved boat neck to it. and I wanted to use the gable. But I absolutely adore those sleeves. Then I'm pinning the neckline in place so that that will be ready for stitching, coming around both sides. And I chose a label from Little Rosy Cheeks so that I can know exactly where the back is. Sometimes I just sew a stitch in or put a bit of ribbon, but I got some lovely labels from Victoria, so I thought I'd pop one of those in the back. And I'm just carefully sewing around that neckline. I love doing this bit. It's like the start of seeing your top come together. So just round one side and then to zip around the other. So that's the neckline finished, so I just need to give that a press. And then for some reason I decided to do the cuffs next, so I just got those sewn and out of the way before I popped the sleeves into the top. Who knows why I chose to do it this way around, but I did. Doesn't matter. I normally, when I sew, I just have everything pinned up ready to go, but I think because I was filming, it was just kind of happening in a different way. So yeah, just get those seams opened out, and then I always pin around the top so it's really secure, and I've made sure I've got all my markings so I can match that to the sleeve. Now it's time for pinning in the sleeve. I love sewing jersey when I just want that quick sew. I mean, I love wearing the pieces, but it's always satisfying how quickly it can come together, you know. You're not worrying about any zips and facings and darts and anything. It's just nothing fiddly twiddly. It's just pure sewing pleasure. Obviously, having a challenge now and again is fun too, but it's lovely. Now for the bit that makes these bishop sleeves what they are, using the shirring elastic, which I always have to put on the bobbin. You know, you give it a little bit of attention, not too tight, but just enough. So you'll know if the stitches don't go in right, you've not used enough tension. And then I need to pull the thread through, so I've got 2 threads. You never back stitch using shirring, so just want long threads out of the end. And you can see it all just gathering up as I sew, because I've used normal thread in the top and the bobbin has the shirring elastic. You can just see it gathering up, and I'll do 2 rows of that, which once I've finished I will give a steam, and then it's time to put the cuffs on, you know, and try and fit that all in to my shirred elastic. And it's really exciting when you pull the cuffs back once you've finished. I mean, once I've done them I will overlock the seams together because I don't like all of that faffing around, you know, all those different layers. But yeah, just getting it all pinned in. This is quite a tricky bit, and it's too tight to fit over the arm of my sewing machine, so I have to sew it around in another kind of way. With my leopard top finished, it's onto my sparkle. Now I can't believe that I did not press record when I showed you how to put the elastic in. It's basically the length of the elastic, and you pin it at the top and you have to pull it taut to the end point, sew a zigzag or a straight stitch with the Maraflex threads, which obviously gathers the tension up. So that's how I've done it. And here I'm just easing in with gathering stitches the top of the sleeve head, so you get that extra poof, which is quite unusual in jersey. You wouldn't normally be doing any easing in stitches, but this gives a really lovely effect. I do love these sleeves. I didn't think they were going to be me, but I've actually, you know, used them quite a few times now. thank you for joining me today. I hope you've found that useful and interesting. Making some more jersey, maybe they're patterns you've tried yourself, you know, so I'd love to know what you think of them. Or you know, you just think, great, I'll mix and match more, because often, you know, people will just make from the packet, and it's lovely when you know the shapes you want, how you can interchange them. It's something I just get really excited about in my sewing classes, when I see a lot of people that have been coming from beginners, couldn't wind a bobbin up, and then now, like, you know, a year, 2 years later, they're thinking of all the separate pieces they want to be wearing, and some parts they're starting to draft themselves, or, you know, pattern hack, alter the pattern to suit what they want. And it's not because I've told them you've got to. I just keep talking about what I do and what I love, and it starts to inspire them about the power and the freedom that we can have with sewing to make the exact clothes that we want to be wearing. So we just feel our best version ever. And going back to one of my daughter's friends, who sadly passed away last year, his mantra, and it was the theme for the funeral, is be your own unique self. And I think that's something we should live by, being our own unique selves. I certainly am, and I'm sure you are too. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you don't always, because I'd love you to be here. And yeah, I'm going to get back to more regular life. I mean, last week I was feeling really grotty. My daughter's back from uni. It just became impossible. And fortunately today I'm able to video, because the roofers aren't working next door, because that was really noisy too. So yeah, should be getting back to more my regular end of week, generally Thursday feel. And yeah, please comment. I love chatting with hearing what you've got to say. I would love it if you'd say what you'd like to know about. I mean, would you like me to maybe do a video talking about why I sew, what got me into sewing, you know, more that type of thing? Just fire away your questions, anything you'd like to know or maybe see me talk about. Yeah, so keep on chatting and liking and subscribing. It makes me happy. So until next time, tatty bye, and happy sewing everybody.